What do the studies say? We're going to talk about that just a little bit this morning. Hello everyone, semi-retired Bob here. I talk about the carnivore diet, all things related to the carnivore diet, and miscellaneous odds and ends. If you're wondering what you're watching, well, basically you're watching me walk. The interesting thing about that is 2 years ago, I couldn't do this. I could barely stand for a couple of minutes without severe pain, and now I'm out here walking every day and doing lots of other things as well. If you're returning to the channel, welcome back. It means a lot to me that you spend just a few moments of your day with me. I'd like to ask you all to help me out just a little bit. Hit that thumbs up button, drop down in the comments and say, "Hi, Bob." If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. All of these things are absolutely free, and it helps me get the word out that it's never too late to change your life. I am 61 years old, and I'm doing things I couldn't do when I was 40, like being out here walking every day. It is a beautiful Memorial Day weekend. It's actually Memorial Day, Monday, here in Omaha, Nebraska. Right now it's about 64, 65 degrees, heading up to the mid to high 70s today, which is just absolutely perfect weather. I worked Saturday and Sunday at the miniature golf course, and it was, because it's a holiday weekend, it's been pretty busy. Spent a lot of time on my feet, yet here I am outside walking again before I go back to work this afternoon. You know, I've talked about this before, but even early, about this time last year, I'd go to work for a day, and then it would take me a day to recover from working. I'll let you know how it is tomorrow, because this will be the first time in probably a decade I've worked 3 days in a row. So we'll see what happens. I'll be sure and let you know. But yeah, let's go ahead and quickly talk about, because one of the things most people that want to say the carnivore diet's no good for you, you're going to die from eating all that meat, or whatever their arguments are, one of their first things that they want to do is, well, you don't have any studies showing that it's not harmful, so what are you going to do? Most of you know what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you've been following Professor K, you know that there are no studies on any kind of diet. There are pseudo-studies that show this association or that association, but they don't actually mean anything. We have been fooled and lied to for decades now about what things are dangerous and what things are not, because they take a very weak association and try to tell you how much that means that, oh, you're going to die, this is going to cause you to die. And it's just not the case. I've always used the cigarette example. And most people, if you say, is smoking cigarettes bad for you? They're going to say yes. And you're going to say, and then you ask them, can you prove that cigarettes cause cancer? And they're probably going to say yes. But that's not actually the case. There's an extremely strong association. But because we don't have any actual experimental science showing that cigarettes cause cancer, we can't actually say that. Now, the association is very big. It's you can't ignore it. But what they try to do then is they take the association value of cigarette smoking, if we think of that as the book War and Peace, and then, let's just say the saturated fat causes heart disease crap that we all know is not true. But they take this tiny little association, like it's one page of the book War and Peace, and they try to convince you that that one page is the same as the entire book. Now, I hope I get this right, but we all know I get in a little bit of trouble when I try to do science, so I try to stay away from it. But as I understand it, the difference between statistical and clinical significance, because they can take these, huge meta-analysis studies and focus on one thing and come up with, say, a 20 or 30% increase in whatever thing they're trying to prove or disprove. And that sounds like a lot. Oh, you mean doing this causes a 20% increase in the chances of this happening? Well, that's the statistical inference. But if you look at it in the actual what does it mean to me category, well, if you take the numbers and divide them all out down to what it means to a single individual's 100-year lifespan, like statins. We'll use that as the example here. Statins can very easily say, and it's absolutely true, that they reduce the possibility of heart disease, or they reduce, not even that, they reduce your cholesterol levels by, 50%? Well, then you come to find out that that's a difference between 0.5% and 1% in actual hard numbers. And what does that work out to on a 100-year lifespan? A couple of days. Maybe 8 at the most, depending on how long you've been on statins. And they do the same thing with all these other studies. They try to make this statistical difference sound like, it's some huge number, and you better not eat saturated fat because it's going to kill you. Yet there's really no association at all. And if you actually look at the projected out numbers and calculate it back into what it means to you, there's absolutely nothing there. So I guess the whole point of this ramble, the whole point of this walk was just to get a walk in before I go back up to work and to say hi to you guys. But don't let other people say, you don't have any studies to back up what you're doing, so you're obviously wrong. Well, you know who you are out there. You don't have any studies either, because the studies that you're relying on are not real studies. There's no science behind them. They're just opinions. I hope some of what I said today made sense, guys. Happy Memorial Day. I'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget, get out there, be 1% better. Today, tomorrow, every day. See you next time, guys.